From the perspective of many, an actor's Rotten Tomatoes page says a lot about their output as a performer, and while the majority of actors can't help but have a wild mix of acclaimed and less well received fare, sometimes they just keep striking out. Yet even the most unambitious of actors should typically be able to appear in one fresh movie throughout their careers, even if only in a small supporting role, right? But these high-profile actors, from 1990s TV legends to on-the-rise stars of the present, haven't managed to appear in a single critically fresh film between them. I'm Si for WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 huge actors with no fresh movies on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 10. Matthew Perry. The 6 lead actors of Friends are basically all over the map where tomato meter scores are concerned, and though Matt LeBlanc has just a single critically fresh film to his name, Chandler Bing himself, Matthew Perry, has not even one. Perry has starred in a number of commercially successful films, Fools Rush In, The Whole Nine Yards, and 17 Again, yet not a single one that's managed to crack 60% and achieve fresh status. He got close with 17 Again, which rocks a not awful 56%, and so to date the only fresh entry on his film page is Friends the Reunion, which, being a TV special and in no way a narrative film, absolutely doesn't count. Despite his enormous fame from his time playing Chandler though, Perry hasn't appeared in a single film since 17 Again way back in 2009, though he did shoot a scene for last year's Don't Look Up, which was ultimately cleaved from the final cut. Thankfully, it didn't cause Perry to miss out on a fresh movie though, as Adam McKay's epic satire fell short of fresh with 56% itself. Number 9. KALEY CUOCO. Like a large number of actors who become breakout performers on hit TV shows, The Big Bang Theory's KALEY CUOCO of course tried her hand at becoming a bona fide movie star, albeit without much success. Though CUOCO appeared in the financially successful likes of Hop, The Wedding Ringer, and lent her voice to Alvin and the Chipmunks' The Road Chip, none of these landed well with critics. Even her promising recent team-up with Woody Harrelson and Kevin Hart, the man from Toronto, flamed out critically with just 23% approval, ensuring her tomato meter movie page is sadly nothing but splats. It's certainly not all bad though. CUOCO has flourished in the TV world with her acclaimed Emmy-nominated lead role in HBO's drama series The Flight Attendant, which is expected to have its 3rd season confirmed in the coming months. CUOCO clearly gravitates more towards TV than film, though her soon-to-release rom-com Meet Cute, co-starring Pete Davidson and directed by Alex Lehman, whose 3 prior films all have fresh ratings, could finally break her cinematic losing streak. Number 8. Taylor Lautner. Though Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson's post-Twilight careers have flourished with awards and tremendous critical acclaim, co-star Taylor Lautner has had a more unassuming career since. While hardly touting a stacked filmography, none of his dozen-plus movies have managed to score a fresh rating, with its closest to date being the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 2, which, wait for it, holds a bafflingly high 49%, joint with the very first Twilight. Lautner has struggled to escape the typecasting associated with Twilight, unlike Stewart and Pattinson. If the actor's general output has tapered off lately, he has at least received fair praise for his performances in 2 TV shows, Scream Queens and Cuckoo. It's entirely possible for Lautner to reinvent himself as he enters his 30s and is perhaps more persuasive as a mature actor, so we'll have to wait and see. Number 7. Kevin SORBO. No matter what he does for the rest of his life, Kevin SORBO will always be best remembered for playing the lead role in the legendary 90s TV series Hercules: The Legendary Journeys. Unlike some other actors on this list though, SORBO made a full-hearted leap into the world of film once the show ended, and at the time of press has over 80 movie roles to his name, with more than 15 in various stages of production as we speak. SORBO, one of Hollywood's most prominent Christians, has spent the better part of his post-Hercules career starring in schlocky comedies like Meet the Spartans, low-rent thrillers, and especially Christian dramas such as God's Not Dead and Let There Be Light. SORBO typically stars in at least a few Christian-themed movies a year, and unsurprisingly, these films are generally either panned by critics or not even reviewed at all. Number 6. Jared Padalecki. Jared Padalecki is of course best known for his star-making turn on the CW hit series Supernatural, which after many years finally wrapped up back in 2020, yet Padalecki's enjoyed considerably less success in the big screen realm. Beyond starring in 2 moderately commercial successful horror remakes, House of Wax and Friday the 13th, he hasn't any box office hits to his name, and the critical stakes are even worse. In fact, his best reviewed movie to date is another remake, 2004's Flight of the Phoenix, which sits at a paltry 30%. Granted, Padalecki is another actor who seems far more at home in the TV world, having appeared in not a single film since Friday the 13th back in 2009. Between appearing in over 300 episodes of Supernatural and currently starring in the Walker Texas Ranger reboot series though, he's doing just fine on the TV side. Number 5. Heather Locklear. There's no denying that Heather Locklear was one of the most recognisable high-profile actresses of the 1990s, best known of course for her performance as Amanda Woodward on Melrose Place, for which she received 4 Golden Globe nominations. And though most of her prominent work has been for the small screen, she has nevertheless made memorable appearances in 1984's Firestarter, Looney Tunes Back in Action, and most recently Scary Movie 5 back in 2013. Yet despite appearing in over 30 movies, not even one of these has managed to scrape 60% on the tomato meter, though Looney Tunes Back in Action got close with a near miss at 57%. Locklear's acting career appears to have wound down somewhat in recent years, so it's not looking terribly likely that she'll end up in a fresh movie anytime soon, if ever. Number 4. Kirk Cameron. Whether you know who Kirk Cameron is or not, suffice to say he's absolutely huge within the Christian world of movie production. While starring in the hit 1980s sitcom Growing Pains, for which he scored 2 Golden Globe nominations, Cameron became a born-again Christian, and in the years that followed focused his energy on producing content aimed at evangelical Christian audiences. Though these films generally went down well enough with their core audiences, critics in general weren't so thrilled, with films like 2000's Left Behind the Movie and 2014's Saving Christmas being summarily panned by the press. In the case of Saving Christmas, Cameron even netted himself a rare 0% approval rating and went on to win 2 Razzie Awards, Worst Actor and Worst Screen Combo, the latter for Kirk Cameron and his ego. Despite critics blasting the film, in which Cameron, playing a fictionalised version of himself, argues that atheists have tried to steal Christmas, as Christian propaganda, it nevertheless grossed more than 5-fold its budget. Ultimately, most established critics don't even bother reviewing Cameron's films anymore, so there's also about a 0% chance that he'll ever get a fresh tomato on his page. Number 3. Shawn Wayans. Throughout the 1990s and 2000s, Shawn Wayans, part of the Wayans family dynasty, starred in a number of prominent and mostly commercially successful comedy films, including the first 2 Scary Movies, White Chicks, and the hilariously named Don't Be a Menace to South Central While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood. And yet that mainstream popularity isn't remotely reflected by critical reception, with every single one of his films to date receiving nothing above wildly mixed reviews. His closest call to date is Scary Movie, which sits at a not bad 52%, though the majority of his starring comedies couldn't even crack 20%. Unlike his brother Marlon, who occasionally appeared in acclaimed dramatic fare such as Requiem for a Dream and On the Rocks, Shawn has stuck to exclusively broad and predictably divisive comedy vehicles. Given that Wayans stepped back from screen acting in 2009 to focus on live comedy performances, there's little prospect of him ever adding some red to his tomato meter page. Number 2. Jennifer Love Hewitt. Jennifer Love Hewitt was everywhere in the late 90s, as following the commercial success of I Know What You Did Last Summer, Hollywood was keen to cast her in a bevy of frothy genre flicks, from Heartbreaker to The Tuxedo and Garfield the Movie. Though Hewitt was certainly better than most people believed, Hollywood couldn't really see it at the peak of her career, and so Hewitt's Rotten Tomatoes page is littered with critically panned fare and not a single genuinely well-received film. If you want to get technical, the feature-length pilot for her TV series The Client List did snag a fresh rating from critics, but given that it's really more TV show than film, it's grasping at straws. Yet Hewitt has been able to flourish as a dramatic actress on the small screen, with her performances in well-received series such as the aforementioned Client List, for which she received a Golden Globe nomination, Criminal Minds, and most recently 911. Number 1. Jesse Metcalfe. For a little while in the mid-2000s, it seemed like Jesse Metcalfe was going to become a Hollywood megastar off the back of his performances on the hit TV show Desperate Housewives and his title role in 2006's box office smash rom-com John Tucker Must Die. Yet Metcalfe's time as a ridiculously handsome leading man in high-profile movies was shockingly short-lived, and he soon enough wound up in low-flying video game adaptations such as Dead Rising, Christian propaganda films like God's Not Dead 2, and Bruce Willis's geezer teaser Hard Kill. Despite having more than 20 movie roles to his name, Metcalfe's tomato meter is full of nothing but green, with 6 movies sitting at 10% or less, and even 2 with 0% approval. And that's the list. Let us know what you thought of this video down in the comments below, and whilst you're down there, let us know which of these actors you'd most like to see get some success in Hollywood and that coveted 60% fresh rating. Make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe and hit that notification bell. I've been Cy for What Culture, and have a good week.